Hello, I am so glad you can join me today. If you're new to this channel, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. Today guys, we are gonna make a good Bajan soup. Bajan meaning Barbados. We're gonna make a good soup today. This is gonna be chicken and vegetable soup. And the last time I made soup, someone wrote me and said, listen girl, soup is not soup unless it have dumplings and pigtails. So today the soup is gonna have dumplings and pigtails because I am making a Bajan soup. And in my soup over here, I have lots of vegetables and when we put it in, I have a big old pumpkin right here. We're gonna be using this today. I have, it's kind of small, but I have a little breadfruit. We're gonna be using some breadfruit. I have some potatoes. We call this, oops, my potato is not that good over here. I'll cut that part out. We call this English potato. I have a piece of white yam. They call this Maine up here, but we call this yam in the islands. I have some carrots. We got some sweet potatoes. I have this we call, I believe in the island this is called christophine. Up here is called chayote or chayote, something like that. And I have some onions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel all this stuff. And I have over here a nice bowl of water. And what happened is, as I peel my potatoes, I will just drop it in the water. And I'm going to be making some chicken soup. So let me get started by peeling my potatoes. I am a Bajan girl today. I'm going to be talking Bajan. Hope I can remember some of them Bajan sayings. Maybe you guys can help me. First I'm gonna start by cutting this breadfruit in half. You know guys, I'm gonna just use half of this breadfruit instead of the whole thing. I'm just gonna use half. And you know, I'm the type of person that I may just be cooking for two people, but I can never, when it comes to soup, I can never average it to say, well, I'm gonna cook like just a portion for two. I always end up cooking a big pot of soup that ends up serving us for at least a couple of days. Sometimes it'll go for 3 days. You get tired of it, you throw the rest out. But I'm gonna, and so I know I'm not gonna be cooking for two here today. It's gonna be a little more than two. I'll cook for today and tomorrow. But I'm cooking some soup. So the first thing we're gonna do is cut the heart out of this breadfruit right here, cause this we're not going to eat. So we're gonna cut this out. I don't know what I'm doing right now, guys, because normally cut this in half like this and then cut the heart out. So I don't know what I'm doing right now. There we go. You cut that out because we're not going to use that. So this I'm going to put in my soup. So we're going to have some breadfruit. Listen, those old people in Barbados, this was their diet. They ate off the land and they lived for years to tell you their stories. You go to the islands, and I'm not just talking Barbados, I'm talking the Caribbean, and those people years ago did not have a lot of money, so they ate off the land and they live a very long and prosperous life. Because when I was living in Barbados years ago, you have old people in their 90s and they're still working. They used to be working in crop season. They're still working and they're strong as an ox. And you know what they ate? They ate a lot of this ground provision, we call it, right? Food off the land. See, this breadfruit tree, you could go right outside. My grandma had a breadfruit tree right outside. So when it's breadfruit season, what am I going to cook today? You just go outside and pick a breadfruit off the tree. And there's so many different ways to cook this breadfruit. Cooking in soup, mash it, cook whatever you wanted to, however you wanted to do it. So those people ate off the land, and that's why they are so strong. So today we're gonna eat some ground provisions. Okay, a couple of breadfruits, half a breadfruit in there. Now this is called a yam. Okay, in I think in Spanish they call it, when I go to the supermarket, it's called Maine. I think it's like M-A-N-E or something like that, but we call it yam. This is the white one, and they also have a yellow one. Okay, Today we're using the white one. I tend to like the white one better because the white one cooks nice and soft. The yellow one is a little firm to me. It's, you know, I like it soft because if you ever had this yam cuckoo, it is so good. You mash it like like how you do mashed potatoes, and you get like a little fish gravy. It is good. Okay, so this is what we're gonna be having in our soup today. Let me peel this other one. Listen, I decided that I'm gonna tell you guys about some Bajan things, some Bajan saying today. See, Bajans had saying for everything years ago, and I was thinking about that, and I said, you know what, the old people used to talk in riddles, but I said when Jesus was here, Jesus used to talk in riddles to the disciples, right? Remember, he talked in riddles. A lot of those old people talk in riddles, so it's only when you get older you can put a lot of them things together that you know what they were talking about, right? They would say things like, when I was younger, I had a boyfriend. I would hide with a boyfriend because you didn't want your parents to know you got a boyfriend because you weren't allowed to have a boyfriend. But wherever you living in the islands, there always used to be people that just was nosy, that just knew everything. So you know that the information was gonna get back. However it get back, you don't know how it get back because they can tell you who tell them, but they know, right? And they would make comments and they would say things like, let me tell you something, see? What's sweet and go mouth, there's Bernie Bam Bam. Is that what they say, Bam Bam? No. What's sweet and go mouth is gonna burn it behind. I just want you to know that that's how they used to talk, okay? You know what I mean? Let me tell you what that means. For those of you who in Bajan and then know this kind of talk, that means if you go there with a boyfriend, you're sweet, it's everything sweet, you're laughing, you're enjoying yourself, and you're having a good time. But if you're going, you get in trouble, you end up getting pregnant or something, that's where it's gonna burn your bam bam, because then you're gonna be in big trouble. Alright? So everything, what's that one? Everything go mouth doing something. What's the reason go mouth? Okay, something like that. Oh my God, that's something. And listen, something's right. Because when you live in, this is sweet potato that I just peeled, guys. When you live in the district, see, everybody's know everything about you. Everybody know. You don't want it to know, you can try to hide. So then some young girls were going to get pregnant, see? And they were hiding, they hide the stomach. They would try to hide. And then another saying was you could hide and buy land, but you can't hide and work it. You know, you learn all these things as you get older and put things together and realize what we're talking about, right? You could hide and buy land, but you can't hide and work it. That means you get pregnant, you can hide it for so long, but eventually everybody will know you're pregnant, right? And them old people, I don't know, I guess they change your face or whatever, they knew exactly what was happening. They knew it even before you. Because one time when I was a little girl, I had a rumor that I was pregnant. I couldn't figure out how I was pregnant because I never did anything to be pregnant, so I didn't know how I was pregnant. And I didn't believe it. Because they would keep saying that I was young and I was, you know, you're impressionate, you don't know. I thought I was, till I realized, wait a minute, it's not possible. You guys don't want to hear all these stories, right? But those were some of the stories that they used to tell you. They had another saying that, is, and I used to say this to my kids, right? It is, you just got plaster for every sore. That was another saying. No, my friends, my kids always laugh at this little stuff I tell them, and sometimes they just go to their friends and try to tell their friends the same thing. Your friends just look at them because they have no idea what they're talking about. But what do you mean you got plaster for every sore? That mean that every time I say something to you, you gotta rebuttal, you gotta answer for everything that I say. So you got plaster for every sore, alright? That's what people used to tell you here. When you're trying to talk back. when you're supposed to talk back, right? Another thing about them islands, I can't remember a lot of things that she used to talk about, but there used to be a lot more. I can't remember all of them right now, so I ain't gonna bore you guys with all of them. But I can tell you something, see? Them people in the islands, they was very polite. And when I go back to Barbados, I see it. When you walking in the morning, because when I went home, my brother-in-law, they like walk in the morning, so I would go walking with them. And you be walking and people be up early and they say, good morning, or afternoon, good evening. When I first went to USA, I lived in Manhattan. And I lived at my aunt, she lived on the 35th floor. And I got in the elevator one morning, first time I was here, and there was a whole crowd of people in the elevator. And I got in the elevator and they said, good morning. Nobody answered. This is in Manhattan. Nobody answered. So I talked to her, I said, I got on the elevator, nobody, and I said good morning, nobody answered. She told me, girl, people are busy, nobody don't speak, nobody don't talk to you. And that was like a shock to me, because I was so used to, you know, you can't pass an adult without saying good morning or good afternoon or good evening, right? But I decided, you know what, I wasn't gonna let that deter me from being polite. So when my kids were younger and they were in school, so this is called a christophine in the islands, but in the other islands it may be called a different name, but it is let me show you what it looks like here. It looks like a pear, shapes like a pear almost, and it has a seed right here in the center, and you just take the seed out. The seed is soft, you see. Some people say to eat that seed, but the thing about christophine is that it doesn't really have much of a taste. It tastes, you know how a cucumber tastes? That's what it tastes like. It tastes like a cucumber, right? So it doesn't really have much of a taste. People say sometimes they eat it raw like this. I've never eaten it raw. And in the center it's kind of like almost like, cut out that part because, and it's kind of crunchy. So you see it looks like a pear. But people sometimes peel the skin, but the skin is very thin, so you don't need to peel the skin. All the vitamins and everything is in there. So what I do is I'm just gonna cut this, and this one was, I guess maybe was getting pretty old. It's a little bit, it's hard, and I'm just gonna cut it up like that, and I'm gonna cook it just like that. There's no need to peel the skin. The skin is very soft. Not very soft, I should say very thin. So there's no need to peel anything. But yeah, I was telling you about my kids. So when my kids were little, my daughter, I pick her up from school in the evening and she get in my van and she didn't say good evening. I said, get right back out. Get right back out. You don't get in here unless you say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And you don't, otherwise you don't get in here. And so then she would get, my mommy, I forgot. Nope. You do that the first thing. That's what you're supposed to do. So I taught my kids that, and now my kids are very polite. They can't see someone and not say hello, good afternoon. Okay, so this is my pumpkin here. I guess I need a big knife for this, right? This pumpkin here is called, I think, calabaza or something like that. I need a bigger knife for this. Oh, see how pretty that looks? That's your pumpkin. We're making some vegetable soup, guys. We're definitely not going to use all of this pumpkin, of course, because this is too much. And I'm probably going to just use half of this because this is still a lot. And I'm going to peel this right now. I'm going to add it to this water. And then I would start getting all my stuff together to make my soup. And I will be back to show you how I put it all together. Okay, guys. My potatoes and everything is here. I have my carrots and my pumpkin and my breadfruit and everything here. That is already peeled. I still have to wash them. But right now, I'm just going to pick this up. Heavy. Rest it over here. Just rest it over there for a few minutes so I can go on. Let me just clean this area right here. There's a little bit of water. so I can go on to show you what I'm gonna do next. Now we're gonna boil our soup, but here I'm boiling my soup on this little gadget right here. Now, years ago, when my husband and I first moved to Florida, we moved from New York to Florida back in like 2004. And when we were moving here, they had just had like 3 hurricanes. And we noticed that the stoves here all work off electricity. So we said, you know, if the stove go off, there's really no way for you to cook, because what are you going to cook on? In New York, we use gas. Well, here it was electricity. So we saw this in the store and we decided to buy this. So for years, this was just sitting in a closet somewhere. It was still in the box, never used. So we came across it one day and we said, you know what, that's good for fishing as well. So we went fishing, we took it with us, and we took some eggs and some bacon and all that, and we were fishing. After we got tired, we was able to go make breakfast and so on, and we found out it works perfect. And that's the first time we had used it. So I really don't have occasions to use it because the power hardly ever goes off. If it goes off, it comes right back on, so there's really no occasion to use it. But today I said, you know what, I'm gonna use it. That way I can stand right here and I can cook my soup right in front of you. It used this little bottle here, propane. It comes in this little small bottle. We bought these, we had these for so long, because of course I told you we never used it. And we had bought this, it was like $5 years ago. I don't know if it's still $5. It might be more money now because that was a long time ago. But these, and they last for a very long time. So let me show you. Let me see if we can open it here. So we're gonna be cooking this way here today. And this is going to be our little stove where we're going to cook here. Now normally if we were out cooking, you can sit it up like this, and it have these little hooks right here that you just squeeze, and the hooks goes in, and this here stays up, and you can cook right here. Okay, so if it's a windy day or whatever. But I'm gonna lay it down flat because I want you guys to see what I'm doing. So this is my little stove right here. It works off of propane. It's not electricity. So as I said, if there's a hurricane and the light goes out, we are able to cook. So with that being said, I have my, first let me get it lit first. My husband usually do this, so let me see. So you see guys, I just lit it. So it's lit. So now I have, and guys, it works just at the regular stove. I have my saucepan here, and in here, in this saucepan, look over here, Charles, it's just water. This is probably like 10.5 cups of water. This is a big saucepan because there's a lot of potatoes in there. So this is a big saucepan. So in here, remember I told you, I was told if I don't cook soup with pigtails, it's not soup, so I put in my pigtails. So my pigtails, they're nice and clean. I got 2 pieces. I cut off as much fat as I can. Now normally this is salted pigtails, but I am not gonna pour off this water because I don't think this is not really that much. So I think the salt from here will salt the food, so I wouldn't have to use additional salt. So we'll see. Hopefully my food is not salty. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cover this. I'm gonna let it come to a boil, and as soon as it comes to a boil and my pigtail has boiled for a little bit, I'm gonna come back and add my other stuff, and you're gonna see exactly how this soup goes from scratch, from just plain water to some delicious vegetable and chicken soup. So I'll be right back. Okay, so our pigtail has been boiling in that water for about 10 minutes or so. So now what I'm going to do is add, now I have some my chicken here. My chicken is already clean and I have it seasoned up, so that's ready to go. But I'm not going to put in the chicken right away because I don't want the chicken I have cut small, so it's going to cook quickly, so I don't have to put that in right now. So what I'm going to do, oh guys, look at all these vegetables, array of colors. That's how your food is supposed to be. That's what the doctor says. Your food is supposed to be an array of colors, and this is what this is. So I am going to put this in, put it all in here. You see, this is a whole lot of food for a whole lot of people. This is what I'm telling you guys. I can never just cook a little bit when it comes to soup. I always end up cooking too much. And that is it, guys. Let me get a spoon. Okay, guys. So this is your potatoes and everything in here. So obviously it needs some more water. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some more water to that. I'm going to add some more water, a little more water. That's about it there. And I'm just going to let this stay here and boil. This is what it looks like right now. I haven't added the chicken. This is just, all this is in here is the vegetables. I'm going to add right now, I'm going to peel this onion right here. I'm going to peel this onion and cut it up and add this onion to it. And I'm going to add this whole bunch of scallions to it as well. You know what I didn't buy, guys? What I need to put in here? Thyme. I didn't buy thyme. Fresh thyme. I know some people are going to ask me, where is the thyme? I went to the supermarket. Brand doesn't always work the way it should work. Okay, so I didn't buy thyme, so I'm going to have to cook it without thyme. But if you have fresh thyme, it also gives it a really nice flavor. Okay, but let me go ahead and cut these up and add this to that. I'm going to let it stay here and continue to boil for a little bit before I add the chicken, and then I'll be back as soon as I'm ready to add the chicken to it. I just cut up my onions big. There's no reason to cut the onions so small, because these are all going to melt away. So those are my onion, and these are my scallions right here. Just put this in here. And that's it, guys. Just mix that up a little bit. I'm not going to season it or anything right now. I'm just going to let that cook for a little bit, and then I'll add the other stuff. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, guys. So now I'm going to add my chicken to that. Now the potatoes have been cooking. They're halfway cooked. So now I'm going to put my chicken in. You don't want to put your chicken too early, because the chicken can cook too soft and then it start to kind of like, we call that stringy. So you don't want that to happen. Okay, so this is what your soup looks like. Potatoes are still cooking. It's turning yellow because the pumpkin is getting soft, and that's fine. That's what you want. So I'm going to go ahead and add a few things to that soup, guys. I'm gonna add a few things. This is a little bit of garlic powder. Just gonna add a little bit of garlic. I'm just seasoning it up a little bit, but with this soup you don't need to add a lot of seasoning to it. This is some onion powder. I'm just gonna add a little more onion powder to that. I'm going to add, I have here a little bit of red pepper flakes. I'm just gonna add just a little bit, just to give it a little bit of a kick. And I'm going to add a little bit of all-purpose seasoning here. I'm not going to add just a little bit of all-purpose seasoning. I sprinkle, guys. You put in just the amount and just taste it just to make sure, you know, it's to your liking and to your taste. I'm not going to add any salt. I'm not going to taste it right now because I just put the chicken in. The chicken is not cooked, so that would be raw. So I don't want to taste it right now. But I'm going to give it a few minutes and I'm going to taste it, because remember I cooked the pigtails. This is a pigtail right here in here which was salted. Okay, so you got to make sure you taste it and make sure that it don't have too much salt. So I'm going to leave that like that for a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make my dumpling. Already potatoes cook a little more. You want to put the dumplings is going to be last thing that you're going to put in. So I'll put the dumplings in as soon as the potatoes has cooked a little more and the chicken has cooked. Okay, so dumpling time. I'll be right back. So we're going to make our dumplings. So in here I have 2 cups of flour. Now to this 2 cups of flour, I have half a cup of sugar. I'm going to put in there. Over here I have this is some ground nutmeg. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit in there. I have here, I'm not going to use that. I have some vanilla. I'm just going to, a couple drops of vanilla in there. Now you can add cinnamon in there. You can add whatever you want to your dumplings. I think Bajan's is the only one, that only island, I guess, I think, I'm not sure, that puts sugar in the dumplings. I don't think the other islands, I know Jamaica, they don't put dumplings. In Jamaica, I know they don't put sugar to the dumplings, so they think that we're kind of weird. But our dumplings taste good because they have sugar. But we put sugar to our dumplings. I'm just going to put a little bit of salt just to give it a little bit of taste. I just take a spoon and just kind of mix that up a little bit. Make a little well right here. I'm going to put a little bit of water in there. And I'm going to mix this up. And we're going to make some dumpling to add to our soup, guys. So I'm going to continue to mix this up and I'll show you what it looks like in the end. Guys, so now our chicken has been in. Everything is in except for the dumplings. So I'm going to go ahead and taste this. I didn't add any salt to it because I had the pigtails in there. But I want to go ahead and taste it for you to see if I need to add salt or if it is just right. So let me taste it for you. You can see the salt, you see the color has changed to this nice yellow color, and this is because of the pumpkin that we put in there that has cooked and turned the soup yellow. So let me taste it so I can see if it needs more salt. Doesn't need any more salt. The pigtails salted the pot. Doesn't need any salt. Perfect. Now, you saw how, these are my dumplings. You saw how I made the dumplings. Now, another way to make the dumplings, which I do sometimes, is you get a glass of water, you put the sugar in the water, you add your spices and vanilla essence and so on to that water, and mix it up so you can melt the sugar that way. The way how I did it is I just put the sugar in there and I put everything in the flour. I just add some water and I mix it. That's it. I did not add flour to, no, I did not add baking powder to this because I like a hard dumpling in my soup. But if you like a soft dumpling, you can go ahead and add maybe like a teaspoon of baking powder to it, and that would soften it. But it puffs it up and it's like, you know, all the way up to the cover. So it's up to you. So this is how, and guys, everybody, let me just put a little bit of flour in my hand. Put a little bit of flour in my hand. But everybody have a different way of rolling their dumpling. Some people may just do the dumpling in a circle and maybe just bend it, like, you know, and just drop it in. I don't do it that way. This is the way my grandmother did it. She rolled it in her hand like this, and then she dropped it in there. And that's how I do my dumplings, okay? So I take a piece about this size, make it into a ball, and then roll it like that, and then take it and drop it into the pot. And that is how I make my dumplings. So I'm going to continue to go ahead and roll all these dumplings and put it in there. And these are just going to take a few minutes, and as soon as the dumplings is cooked, soup is finished, I'm gonna come back and I'll taste it for you. Okay guys, whoa, soup is all done. Look at it, look at it. There goes your dumplings swimming there on the top. Looks good. Soup is done, guys. See, the meat is already starting to break up. The meat is cooked. Everything is cooked. Potatoes are cooked. The soup is all done. Looks good. Looks good. Guys, I am going to go ahead and dish some out in a bowl. And then I'm going to taste it and tell you exactly what it tastes like. So let me turn the stove off. And so see what I told you guys, this little bottle of propane here just cooked me this whole big pot of soup, and you see how good it cooked. I love this little thing. Guys, if you get one of these, this is really good, especially if you're a guy and you like fishing. Take one of these and you could be fishing, and you can put some oxtails on there, guys, and put some peas and rice on the other burner. So by the time you're done fish, you can eat some oxtails and rice. Yes. All right, let me just put some in a bowl, taste it, and tell you exactly what it tastes like. Okay, guys, so the soup is all done. Now you guys saw how easy that soup is to make. It's just a matter of cutting up everything, and you see I started out with just some plain old water, and I end up getting a delicious broth from that water right here. And it is everything in there that is nice and healthy. You have your pumpkin, you have your carrots, you have your potatoes, everything for, and of course your chicken, for a healthy meal. When you make a soup like this, this is a full meal, so you don't have to, like in certain restaurants sometimes they serve a little bowl of soup and you will be able to have, you know, your order sandwich or whatever you want to go with that. But I'm saying with this, because you have all this starch in here, the potatoes and your meat and everything in here, you don't need anything else with this. This is just one full meal right here. Okay, so let me go ahead and taste it for you and tell you exactly what it tastes like. So I'm gonna start by tasting some of the broth right here. And you see I didn't add a lot of stuff in here to season it, just a little a couple little things I added to it. But let me taste it. That is good. That is so good. You have your dumplings. I made my dumplings, guys, so you can't tell me there's no soup without dumplings. I made my dumplings. I got a piece of my pigtails right there. I have some of my chicken, and of course my carrots and pumpkin and everything there. Oh, it looks so good. Guys, I wish you guys could taste this. I wish I could just like have all of you guys around and just make this for everybody. It is so good. Guys, if you want to know how to make some vegetable soup, just watch the video from beginning to end. It's right there to teach you how to do it. Very simple, very easy, and trust me, you're gonna love it. I had fun making this for my family. Oh, by the way, don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. And guys, when you watch the video, don't forget that little thumbs up to give me a thumbs up, okay? I had fun making this, and I hope you have fun making some for your family as well. Until next time, bye-bye.